I'm Deborah Henson-Conant, and I am here to tell you about the 5-day Make It Easy Baroque Flamenco Challenge. Now, the Baroque Flamenco is a showpiece that has two different characters. So let me go back and let me just play a little bit of it for you first. So this is a piece that, let me just play it. It's got this lovely, simple little melody, but before the melody starts, there's this fun, like, this piece is all about character. It's all about going back and forth between the character of flamenco and the character of Baroque. So there's a melody, and that's that melody. There's this cadenza type thing, which is this. And then there's also an improv section. So one of the things that I really love about this piece is that it lets you explore, either at a sort of advanced level or at a simpler level, different kinds of character, musical character, at the same time that you're learning to improvise. So let me take you through the piece. And the challenge, and I've got, there's a link right here. So if you can use that QR code to sign up. It's totally free. It's a 5-day challenge. It's a 5-day training, 15 minutes a day. And you will be playing your version of this piece by the end. And you can do it any time you want, any time of the day that you want. So what's so cool about this piece for me is that this little melody is actually by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. It was in one of my very first harp books. I started as an adult learner, and I had this harp book, and this had this beautiful tune in it. And I noticed that this tune was not only beautiful, but it had a secondary part to it. And the secondary part, I had this something I didn't know was called a descending bass line. So the form of the tune, notice the bottom, my hand is going down. My left hand goes down again, comes back up and goes down. And I'm improvising with my right hand. Now, why is this important? I mean, now I'm just showing you the form, not necessarily the character. Every piece has form, it has melody, it has bass, it has rhythm, and it has character. So this piece is no different. I'm showing you the form right now, and then I'll show you the character later, and I go through the same thing in the 5-day challenge. Right now, I just want to give you a sense of what it's like, and then I'm going to take it apart now, and I'll take it apart in the challenge as well. But I want to tell you what I love about this piece so much. First of all, that it's got this beautiful melody. And it's an easy melody to learn. So you start on the top note, goes up, and then it comes down. It doesn't like leap around all the place. So for me, since I have trouble remembering melodies, it's this easy melody to learn. And so I get to play around with it. It's got an easy accompaniment, just simple, 2 notes, goes up and comes back. But what's fun about it, in addition to the character, is that it's got these 3 different sections with 3 different characters, and you go back and forth between them. And this section, the second section, has this pattern, a pattern that starts and goes down. You can do it in many different ways. We always start with the simplest way so that we get the bones of the piece. And then we can start building the flesh and the muscle and the fancy hats and stuff. That once you learn that structure, you've actually got the whole tune. So you can learn the bones of the tune very easily. That means that you can then play it at your level, whatever that level is. That means you can ground and then expand. That means that you can start playing the piece as a piece very soon and then spend a lifetime expanding it. And that's what I've done. I started being able to play this tune very soon by playing it very simply. Melody, and then repeating up an octave. Well, I don't know if I can go all the way up an octave here because that's right at the top of my harp. So you play the melody, and then you have this wonderful section of improvisation. Now, when I play it like this. And then I come back to the melody, and I play the melody like this. But it's just as beautiful like this. You can be just as musical with something simple and just as creative with something simple as with something complex. And that's part of what you learn in this piece. Everything that I do is all about connection, not perfection. It's about breaking things down to their simplest form, grounding in them, finding the beauty in how it's constructed, and then being able to expand it into having character and having fire and having tenderness, whatever it is. Now, the other thing that's so wonderful about this piece is that you can play it like, or you can play it meditatively. It's the same music. It's different notes, but it's the same music. I am a composer, so for me, music breaks down into form, patterns, melody, accompaniment. And so the specific notes that I'm playing at any one time are not so important as the way the piece is structured and the way that you the way that you can expand it, the way you can play around with it, because I'm an improvising composer as well, and because I come from jazz, and I learned classical music later on, but I also learned that you can improvise with classical music as well. So for me, I want to be always playing pieces in a way that I can play them simply or complexly, that I can explore them, or I can play them simply. And this is also great for harpists because many harpists play in hospice, or they are playing in therapeutic situations in which they want to be able to really focus on the person they're playing for. And by being able to break down a piece to its simplest form, in other words, you can play this piece like, you can do that. But you can also play it like this. You don't have to play every part of it. And that's what you learn in this challenge. You learn how to break it down. The challenge is to make it easy, to allow it to be easy. And you do that by breaking it down and knowing the simplest form of it. You know what? I just want to make sure that I'm actually using the right audio settings here. I just realized I didn't check that out. The other thing that I like about this particular format that we are in right now, first of all, I want to pull this up so you can join this. So just click the, you can go to hipharp.com. That's hip as in cool, harp as in the instrument. Or you can click on this QR code, or you can go into and look in the caption, and you can get to the challenge that way. And I am out to have 1,000 harpists in this challenge. So tell any harpist who you know, and if it's you, tell yourself, to join the challenge. Now, it's for lever harps, pedal harps, from fledgling to advanced. But I've just recently learned that several of the people who are in the challenge again this year took the challenge for the first time when they'd only been playing like 2 weeks. So apparently it works for beginners as well. And And right. Oh, right. And it's a 5-day challenge. You don't need to know all the details. It's on that page. What I want to do is go over here because I am on a platform where you can actually chat with me. You can ask me questions. And someone is saying, hello. Beautiful. Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to play this piece again, and I'm going to show you some of the parts of it. I'm going to take these off, and hopefully the sound is okay. All right, great. So what I love about this piece is that when I love many, many, many things about it. First of all, I love that I've been able to spend a lifetime with it. I love that. I love having pieces that I can learn simply and then spend a lifetime expanding and exploring. I'm just going to try to take that off of there. Okay, take that down for now. All right. So when I first started playing the harp, I only knew 4 pieces, and this was one of them. So I would play it, and when I had to make a living because I was starting as an adult, and so I got this job at a restaurant, and I only knew 4 pieces, and this was one of them. And one day the day I was playing, I played my 4 pieces, and I played them again, and then I played them again. And this waiter came over, and he stood next to me with a pitcher of water. And he was a cute waiter too. And he said, he looked down at me and smiled, and I smiled back. And he said, if you play those pieces one more time, I'm pouring this water into your lap. And he was serious. And I thought, these are the only 4 pieces I know. So I have to do something with this. So I discovered that this piece, this Baroque Flamenco, well, it wasn't called Baroque Flamenco then, it was called Minuet by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And that it had these 2 parts to it. And that the second part had this bass line. I could see that in the music. I couldn't read all the notes, but I could see that the lowest note had a pattern. And that pattern just kept going over the same notes. And I realized that I could improvise over it using other patterns. I could use patterns like a 6th, like this, or I could use patterns like melodic patterns. So I didn't have to know the notes that I was playing. Something about that bass line set up a structure that allowed me to play patterns over it. And the more comfortable I got with the patterns, the more I was able to move around with them. To start with one pattern, and then, I could turn the pattern upside down. And I just discovered that I could improvise on this piece. And when I thought that maybe I'd improvised enough, I would go back and play that melody again. And then I would go back and I would improvise again. And the more comfortable I got it with it, I could improvise more. And anytime I got lost, I could go back to the simple way of playing it, or I could go back to the melody. So it was like having a home free, a thing that I could go back to if I ever got lost. And it allowed me to start exploring. So I fell in love with this tune because it opened up the possibility of exploring and having safety. But then I began to notice, okay, these are 2 contrasting sections. One of them has a bass line that's very simple and a lot of melody. And the other section has this bass line that moves always in the same pattern. And I was like, oh, those are contrasting sections. Well, how could I make them more contrasting? And then I started thinking about, what if I played them in different rhythms. So this was in a Baroque rhythm, and this was and back to the melody. Then I started discovering that when I got to the bottom of that descending bass line, there was an interesting chord. I was in a minor key, but this was a major chord. You can actually see me changing the lever to make this a G sharp. You do not have to do this in the challenge, but you can if you want. There are different ways to do this. What I discovered is it created this beautiful harmony, really beautiful harmony on the harp. And I realized that I could use this harmony. I could create patterns over just this harmony. This is called a cadenza. It's a moment in the music where you're just about to come back to the melody, but you're waiting just a little bit longer, and it allows you to really play around with that. Like, I'm not gonna go there yet. Like, a little kid who doesn't want to come home. No, not quite yet. And when I'm ready, I could come back to the melody and but then, and this is the beauty of having a piece, of living with a piece over many, many years, many decades, is that you start to discover more and more and more in it. So all of this was happening over time, over decades. Then I discovered that when I would take this descending bass line, and I tell you much more about this in the challenge. I'm just kind of going over it now. And I would get down to that very special chord at the bottom. I could also play with that rhythm. Now, will you learn to do all of that in the challenge? I will show you. You may not learn it all in the 5-day challenge, but I will take you through this, and you will be able to play your own version of it that you can love and enjoy, just like I had my own version in the first 5 days that I played it. But what I discovered about this cadenza is that it became this huge, that I could take it all over the world. So, I mean, I could take it all over the harp, like. I could just do all this stuff with it, and I'll show you another day. I'll come here and I'll do it on the pedal harp where I have a soundboard, because one of the things I ended up doing with this piece was writing this huge cadenza with all kinds of strumming and tapping on the harp, and it became this huge, incredible showpiece. And then I thought, I will write an orchestra part with this. And so I wrote it for symphony orchestra. So now harpists all over the world play it as a concerto with symphony orchestra. It's this big, grown-up, fancy, exciting showpiece. but it is also still this beautiful, simple little piece that is from a beginner's book, that started in a beginner's book. So I just realized this just now as I'm talking to you. I thought, it's like us. It's like us as grown-ups. We are adults, but we are still that child. So we still have that tenderness, and we also have that play. Because also this piece is all about play for me. The idea that I can pretend to be a flamenco dancer, that I could pretend to be even Marie Antoinette. I can pretend that I can play classical music when I'm playing the melody, and I can pretend that I'm a flamenco dancer when I play in that style. And thus is it called Baroque Flamenco. And as I play it, see if you can hear the parts as I go back and forth. This is still the part where the bass line is going down. I'm just being fancier. Now I am going to the cadenza. I'm on that E chord. It is the dominant. And I can play a cadenza in a flamenco style or in more of a classical style. This is what's called a transition or an extension. And fancy ending. So as I developed the piece more and more, I kept putting in new parts of it. Like I wanted like some, at one point I was like, I want an ending like what a piano player is going, bum, 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 bum. And so I put, and I said, but I wanted it to be easy because I was like, my fingers are going to be tired by the end of this piece. I want something that looks hard and sounds dramatic, but it's easy. So that's what I'm always looking for. How can I do things that work for the harp? I'm not saying that would be easy for a beginner, but what it is it's an A chord, and then an E chord, and then an A chord. And in between, it's A chord, whap, with the drama of that. And then an E chord, whap, and then boom. So for me, this piece has been just such a joy to expand and then to see people play it in a fancy way. But it's really exciting for me to then take it back to its very beginnings and teach it in this challenge, to be able to have people see the joy that I felt when I first realized, oh my goodness, this is a beautiful, all I have to do is learn this melody. And then these patterns, this pattern. And if I want to, I can learn other patterns like, and when I say this is a pattern, I mean that my hand is in this shape over and over again, the same shape. Or this is a pattern. That's a pattern. I'm putting my hands in patterns. So learning those patterns allows me to improvise. Or if I do this, I'm taking that same shape and going down the harp. Once I get that sense, once I can really be solid with it, then my right hand plays patterns. It doesn't even have to move. I mean, it could play the same notes over and over again. That is you can be musical and you can have fun with something, even though I'm just taking this shape and taking it down, down, down. It's almost like learning a game. And my right hand was playing the same thing over and over again. And then I just played half of that. So it's joyful to me to point out and to see, as people start doing this, that musicality and creativity can happen at any technical level. You could literally play this piece with 2 fingers. You would leave out some of the fancy stuff. And then you could even do the cadenza. Fingers. The other thing I love about the piece, I love everything about this piece. I love the fact that the original melody was written by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I love the fact that he was a politician and a composer. That to me, that was just amazing. When I first saw that he was the composer, I was like, what? I don't know. Did George Washington write music? I don't know. But that was just, I don't know, there was something wonderful about that to me. What else? I was going to say something else about it that I really love. How expansive it is. Maybe that's all. Oh, no, to be able to have a piece that expands and contracts to for the moment, I don't know, there's just everything. I'm going to be talking about it for days and days because the challenge is coming up. And I want everybody to know about this because this piece is such an access point for music. Oh no, that was the other thing I was going to say. There's a story that goes with it too. So part of the joy of playing this piece is telling the story, and it's about this troupe of flamenco dancers who discovered that their guitar was actually a time machine. But by the time they discover this, they're in the court of Marie Antoinette, and she's hosting this ball. Anyway, the beauty of that is that when you are playing the harp for others, it can get into this like American Idol type thing, like, well, how good are you anyway? And when you can pull a story into it as well, and you could tell the story of even learning this in a challenge, that diffuses that the sort of critical mindset of the listener so that they can enjoy watching the story of it and listening to you talk about it. So like I said, I feel like this piece has been my journey. Sorry, I just realized like that is absolutely true. This piece has accompanied me on my entire harp journey of my life. It has expanded. It has provided gentleness. You can do anything with this piece. And you can then take the parts of it and learn other things that you can do with it. For example, I showed you that bass line. Oh, well, now I'm going to pull these down. That descending bass line, you can move that. You could take this whole piece and you could put it in a major key. So you would be playing. All I did was take it and put it up a third. Now I'm playing it in a major key. Now I can do the bass line. And back to the melody. So you can use this piece to learn about harmony. You can use it to learn about the difference between a minor piece and its relative major, or a major piece and its relative minor. But wait, my friends, that's not all. The form of this piece is called a rondo form. It's called a rondo form because you keep coming back to the melody. I'm just thinking here, maybe I shouldn't have put everything in this Facebook Live. Maybe I should have put just one idea. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm doing. All right. So, so this idea, the form is a rondo form. And in the challenge, you learn the structure. You learn there's an intro, there's a melody, there's an improv, and the melody, improv. Well, you can learn it with this piece. Once you have it strong with this piece, you can trade everything out. So there's another piece that I wrote, and it uses exactly the same form. It's called Califipso, but the melody sounds like this. Melody repeats again. But then this improv section sounds like this. Back to the melody. And improv again. melody. Etc., etc., etc. And that piece even has a cadenza in it. So once it's like you can learn all about all kinds of things about music. And then, as you go on, you trade this out and then you trade this out. And then you change the style because form and style are different. Oh, I could change it into a meditation. Oh, I could improvise like this. Or like this. In fact, when I was first learning it and I learned how to build those chords, that became my improvisation for Baroque Flamenco. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but this is the first of hopefully many Facebook Lives that I will do over the next week or so as I invite every harpist in the world to join the Baroque Flamenco Challenge. What is the challenge? The challenge is to let it be easy. That is often one of the biggest challenges that harpists have. We want it to be hard. It's really fun. And so I challenge you to let it be easy, to come in and learn the patterns and realize that you can improvise, you can play something simply, you can learn the whole thing, you can have fun with it. I was just reading on some of the there's an introduction. So the way it works, there's it's 5-day challenge, 15-minute video each day, and you can do it anytime you want. And it's connected to a Facebook group, a closed Facebook group. So if you just want to learn, you can just learn. But if you want to take part in the community part of it, you can share every day. And if you share, you get to share the answers to 3 questions. You can share a video if you want to. It's up to you. It's not a contest. It's about participation. So there's prizes every day if you answer the questions on the Facebook thread, and we put all those people into a random generator. It's actually really cool. It's a random generator wheel, and you see everybody go around, and we pick one winner each day. And so you can take part in that as well. You can take part in the community aspect of it as well, of the challenge. But it's not about perfection. It's about connection. It's about getting to do something fun, getting to do it with a whole bunch of other people, harpists all around the world. You get to meet harpists all around the world. And then I'll tell you how to take it beyond that. If you decide that's something that you want to do, I'll tell you how to take it as far as you want. So let me see if anyone has said hello. Oh, good. Facebook user said, beautiful piece. I would love to learn it. Well, you can. I mean, there's also sheet music for this piece. You can buy the sheet music, but what's really exciting about this challenge is that I break it apart for you. So you can you can create your own version of it at your technical level. And you can then start improvising with it as well. I just got a dissertation from Connie. And she says, I'm so glad you keep offering this. I forgot how much fun I had progressing. Well, that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that I was reading the introductions. So there's an introduction thread on Facebook, and where people say, hi, I'm so and so, I'm from here, and I play this kind of harp. And now I'm reading that people are like, I did this challenge for the first time when I've been playing for 2 weeks, and now I've been playing for 2 years, and I want to come back and see what it's like. It's just really fun that people sort of progress to the next level. Although now that I'm saying that, I'm realizing that's what my experience with this piece has been my entire life. It started in this one place, and then it reminds me of that Dr. Seuss, to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, where this kid sees something, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger, and that's what this piece is like. All right, I will read the rest of Connie says. Connie says, I forgot how much fun I had progressing each time. You make a lot of sense. Why, thank you, Connie. It's so much fun. You're the happy moment in learning without realizing we're learning. That makes a lot of sense, Connie, because that's how I learned. I didn't take lessons as a kid, but I was shown things. Okay, this is how you do this. Okay, well, this is how you do this. And so I was learning by playing. And that's another thing that I love about learning this way. learning by breaking down the piece, because I don't know if you heard that, but I think my clothes are dry. By breaking down the piece and playing, so normally we get a piece of music and I start here and I learn this and then I learn this and then I learn this and then I learn this. I'm learning this part and then I get it right. But that's not how you learn. It's not how you learn, and that's not how I teach. It's not how I teach this. I teach you how to learn the basic of it so that you can play it. You can play it in its simplest form. And then once you get that, then you start adding. It's reminding me of something, but I don't know what it is. Maybe like a garden that, you get it planted and then each year it gets richer and richer and richer. And this is how I love to teach and how I love to learn. And in the academy, we call it grounded expansion. You ground in the simple form of the tune, and then it expands as you expand. That's the interesting thing I discovered. Like if I'm playing this, as I get really comfortable with it, once I'm really comfortable with it, it's very easy to add other parts to it, but this is always there. It's always at the heart of it. And I think another reason that I love that is that I know I can always go back to it. Like and I don't know why that's so important to me, but I think part of the reason it's important to me is because I want to be playing music my entire life. I may not always be getting better. I may not always be playing more notes. There may come times, who knows why, I might fall on my hand or something. I don't know. I mean, who knows? When I may not be able to play all those fancy things, but I don't want to have to stop playing music. I want to be able to have just as much fun, have as much experience of musicality, whether I have one finger on each hand or I have all of them. That's part of why I love learning this way, because I feel like I will have this piece to play for my entire life, no matter what happens. Even if I have a two-string, if I had a two-string harp, I would figure it out somehow. All right, now I'm off into my imagination. Somebody says, love that. And I don't care what you love because I just love that you love it. All right, any questions? When you join the challenge, join the challenge now, because you get the official challenge starts on April 8th. But when you join now, there's warm-ups already on the page. So you get to start if you want. And we also always have this extra class, this bonus class, which is called Creating Conducive Conditions. And it is all about setting up your space, so that your space in your life, so that this is supposed to be inside. Setting it up so that it may. Oh, I just realized I'm having lots of realizations tonight. It's setting up your life so that things can be easier, just like when you set up patterns with your harp playing, it can be easier as well. I think, who cares? I mean, I think it's because I don't have a great memory for specifics, and certainly not for sequences. And so creating things as simple as I possibly can has always been important to me. Do us oldies have to join again? Do you have to join again? Here, the reason everybody should join, even if you're already in the Harpists Who Dare Facebook group, is because that's how you get the emails. Each challenge we start new, and because we don't want to send reminder emails to people who may not be in this challenge. So you opt into the challenge, you join for free so that you'll get all the reminders and you'll know about when the emails are, you'll know if any special events happen. And we also have some live events as part of the challenge. Like I'll have Q&As, I'll have at least 1 or 2 Q&As during the challenge. And so you want to know about those. So yes, always join. And you'll get the reminder. Oh, yeah, you also want to join because that's the way you're going to get to the page. It has a special learning page, so you definitely want to join. Any other questions? I love that I can just answer your questions right here. Oh, the other thing that's really cool is there's on my blog at hipharp.com, we have something called the Composer Spotlight, and that's where we spotlight harpists around the world who are playing my music. And we've been really trying to focus on spotlighting harpists who play this piece. So you can go and you can hear people winning prizes and stuff with this piece. I think I'm going to ask them to put up we have older videos that are really great of people doing this piece in all kinds of different ways, with, bell choirs and bassoons and whatever. It's just such a wonderful piece. And so I'm going to play it a little bit longer and then I'm going to go to bed. I hope that after just watching what I've shown you so far, you were able to follow the form of it and see, when is she improvising? What is she improvising on? And maybe you didn't see the whole thing, but to get a sense that I was doing things sort of fancy and as fancy as I can, because I haven't warmed up today. But I could have played it in a completely different way. And so anyway, I hope you all will come. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And oh, you get to see, oh, this is the color of my new kitchen floor. All right. And so please tell if you have friends who have never done this challenge, or if you have friends who have done this challenge and they play the harp. And I will say that there have been other instrumentalists that come to this. You can learn how to play this piece and how to break it down on different instruments. It's on the piano for sure. And so tell your friends. I hope to see you in the challenge. And I hope to see you in the introductions thread where I'm saying hello to people. And I will see you soon. I am now off to bed. So go forth and harp on the joy of learning a new piece, and the joy of going back to an old piece, and the joy of learning the simplest version of a piece that you can actually play and that you'll be able to play for the rest of your life. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.